In this video, you'll learn everything there is to know about what is STAAD Pro and why you should be considering learning it in the year 2024. With that being said, let's jump inside the video. Hello and welcome to Civil Black Box. I'm Kushal, and if you're new to this channel, this is where we create content for civil engineers. So if you're new here, do consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Also, during the video, if you like it, please do hit that like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. With that being said, let's jump inside our topic. So this is what we are going to be doing in this video to understand what is STAAD Pro and why you should be learning it in 2024. Now, this video will cover the following. We'll learn about the history and versions of STAAD. We'll learn about what is so special about STAAD. We'll learn about what we can build with STAAD, which companies are using STAAD currently, how you can get your hands on STAAD, and I'll be talking about not only the paid version, but also the free version, how you can get that. And finally, there will be a secret gift for anyone who stays till the end. So let's start this whole thing. Now, before we do that, let's understand if this video is for you. Now, this video is going to be for you if you have just heard about STAAD, you're a complete beginner and you want to know everything there is to know about STAAD Pro. You know a little bit of STAAD and want to know everything about it. Or if you just know a lot about STAAD and still want to know everything about it once again. So if you're in any of these three categories, this video is going to be for you. Let's start with the history and versions. Now, STAAD Pro is an acronym which stands for Structural Analysis and Design. This is under a company called Bentley Systems. I'll quickly take you to the website of Bentley. So this is the Bentley website, and if I just scroll down, you'll be able to see the different softwares that they have. Now, this is just for a specific category. If you just look at the left side, you'll be able to see different categories on which they have their software. Now, STAAD did not start with Bentley. STAAD was originally developed by a company called Research Engineers International. There is another product called RCDC, which was originally developed by a company called SQ Future Tech in India in 2004. These two companies were subsequently acquired. Firstly, REI was acquired by Bentley in 2005. STAAD became a Bentley product, and later in 2018, SQ was acquired by Bentley. RCDC now became a part of STAAD, that is a part of Bentley Systems. So after its acquiring in 2005, the first version of STAAD Pro was launched called STAAD Pro 2005, then came 2006, then came a version called 2007, then came a kind of a stable version called V8i, which had Select Series versions in itself. So it came from Select Series 1 to Select Series 6. Then came the most recent version called Connect Edition. This is where RCDC became a part of STAAD Pro. And now, currently, as on recording this video, we are standing with STAAD Pro 2023 version. So what is so special about STAAD? And before we dwell into what is special, let's understand what exactly is STAAD. Now, as per STAAD itself, it defines itself as a tool for computerized structural engineering. It defines itself something or a software which can do 3D model generation, which can do analysis of a structure, which can do multi-material design. It has an intuitive and user-friendly graphical user interface. It has good visualization tools, powerful analysis, and design facilities. Well, this is all definition, but what does STAAD actually do? So STAAD is just a software. Think of it like a glorified calculator. It takes in a lot of inputs and it fetches you outputs. That is what basically a software does. Let's look at these three parameters one by one, and we'll start at the end so that we know what we are getting into. We'll start with the outputs. Now, when we talk about outputs from STAAD, what we want is a structure that is safe. And when we talk about safety, we talk about safety from the concept of limit state of collapse as well as limit state of serviceability. Now, if you want to know about these two concepts, do leave me a comment. I'll try to make a video on it. This is just the output we are expecting from STAAD. Now, what is STAAD doing for us? Remember, STAAD is a software. All that it is doing, it is helping us in applying inputs. Now, we'll talk about inputs in a minute, but STAAD is basically helping us in applying inputs. It is not applying the inputs itself. It is just doing some calculations. It also helps us in understanding outputs. So not only helping us in inputs, but in outputs as well. And in the middle, it is saving us from a lot of tedious calculations. Now, if you have done any manual calculations, you know how hard they are. and how difficult it is to come up with solutions which are not wrong. And when you think about it in respect to solving for 1,000 beams and 1,000 load combinations, it is going to be very tough if you're doing it manually. So STAAD does all that heavy lifting for us in terms of calculations, but you have to be very vigilant about the inputs and you have to be very sure about the outputs. STAAD will help you in the inputs itself and the output itself, but it is not going to be doing that thing for you. We are not at a stage where STAAD is going to do everything for you. So let's move on to the inputs part. Now, inputs is very important. Let me rephrase it again. Inputs are very, very important. Let me rephrase it even further. Inputs are the most important thing you need to know. If you can remember anything with respect to STAAD, remember this: garbage in and garbage out. So if you think of STAAD as this nice machine with new gears, new funnel in, new funnel out, everything is pristine, new, fine. But if you put in garbage, you'll get garbage out. So whatever algorithms are working inside the hood of STAAD Pro will work perfectly and give you perfect results only if you're not putting in garbage, but rather putting in intelligent inputs. So that is what we'll talk about, intelligent inputs. When we talk about inputs, modeling is one of the very important inputs. We have property inputs, we have support inputs, we have loads as inputs, and finally, we have design codes as inputs. Let's look at them one by one. When it comes to modeling, STAAD Pro will help you design your structures in terms of different structural elements. So you can use the combination of nodes, beams, plates, and solids to create any simple or any complex structure. This is what the structural elements look like inside STAAD. Now, once you have defined those structural elements, you can give it some properties as well. Now, inside STAAD, you can provide any property to any element. Now, you can choose from pre-existing properties which are already fed into the STAAD system. This is where, again, it is helping you with the inputs. But if, for example, you want to work with a concrete which is M27, for example, which is not going to be inside STAAD, you'll have to design it yourself as a new material. Again, that is a function which is available inside STAAD. So with STAAD, you can kind of do any kind of analysis with any kind of material property. When it comes to supports, STAAD is again extraordinary. It has fixed supports, it has pinned supports, it has enforced supports, which are basically supports that undergo a little bit of deformation or displacement. We have custom releases, so you can release moments or release reactions in one or the other direction. You can have spring supports, you can have inclined supports, you can have foundation supports. Every support which you can think of will be covered under STAAD. Next up, we have loads. Now, when it comes to loads, you have to look at it from the point of view of, or rather, we are looking at it from the point of view of STAAD. So inside STAAD, there is something called a load case, which has a name. So if you think about load case, it can be a dead load. So you can call it dead load or DL or dead or whatever. And the load type is going to be very specific. So the load type is predefined inside STAAD. So you can give it a dead load property or a dead load type, live load type, seismic load type, and so on and so forth. That is the load case. This is kind of the bucket inside which different load items will be placed. And for specific loads, there will be something called a load definition, which will enhance upon the definition of a load, or it will give increased data about a specific load. Now, again, although I have marked it linked to a load case, it will indirectly be linked to all the load items or whichever load items we want. So this is what it looks like. We have load case, we have under it load case item 1, 2, 3. So when we are putting it inside STAAD, this is what it will look like. You'll provide the title of the load case and you'll be providing a loading type, which is a predefined list. So you can see here we have the dead load, live load, roof load, wind load, etc. Load items will be covered under the load case. So right here you can see we have a primary load called dead load, and under it we have a lot many loads. So we have a self-aid, we have floor loads at different rooms, corridors, and so on and so forth. Now, these load items could be self-aid, these could be nodal loads, member loads, physical member loads, area loads, floor loads, plate loads, seismic loads, wind loads, response spectral loads, etc., etc. So again, anything which you can imagine is covered inside STAAD Pro. So a dead load case would look something like this. We have a dead load case, And under that, we have dead load items, which could be self-aid, which could be nodal loads, which could be floor loads, which could be plate loads. For live load, it would look something like a floor load and a plate load. Additionally, we have some load types called seismic load and wind loads, which will be given or which require to be given some additional properties, which are going to be called definitions. So definitions would look something like this. You can provide vehicle definitions, time history definitions, wind definitions, seismic definitions, and many other definitions if you want. Once you have defined your load cases, each load case will be given its own title or an own number, and later, depending upon what the load type was, we'll create load combinations and put it inside STAAD Pro again to give us some results. Now, most of the things which we talk about here comes from something which is called design codes. Now, although I have placed design codes inside the inputs tab, as it feeds a lot of inputs, so it will feed a lot of modeling concepts like what are going to be the minimum and maximum beam sizes, what are going to be the minimum and maximum slab thicknesses, column sizes, and so on. It will define the properties. So depending upon your country, you'll be talking about M20, M30, M40, or so on and so forth. You'll be talking about supports. Different support displacements are considerable inside different codes. When it comes to loads, the seismic loads are governed by, in India, by IS 1893, live loads by 875, and so on and so forth. So design codes are helping you with all the inputs, but it is also helping you with the outputs. So when we talk about the limit state of collapse or the limit state of serviceability, it is actually governed from the design codes itself. So although I placed it inside inputs, remember design codes to be not only linked to the inputs, but also to the outputs. And STAAD being a bridge in between. So STAAD is going to be helping us in taking the design codes, whichever are fed inside STAAD, and using the inputs or linking the inputs to it to provide us the correct outputs. Now, the different design codes which are available inside STAAD are as follows. So you can have, if you go through STAAD, you'll find that we have steel design codes, we have concrete design codes. Now, concrete design codes are divided into two parts. We have concrete design codes, which are a part of STAAD itself. And then we have advanced concrete design, which is the detailing part, which is a part of RCDC. So now, since RCDC is a part of STAAD, this also is available inside the STAAD umbrella. We have timber design codes additionally and aluminum design codes. When it comes to steel design codes, you can see STAAD has covered almost multitude of countries. When it comes to concrete, we have a fewer number of countries, and with RCDC, we have even fewer, and the list goes down. Now, this is also because steel codes are generally more prevalent in different countries. Concrete is the next, timber and aluminum is still to be developed in many of the countries. And also, STAAD takes a little bit of time to recode everything inside their software. So if I just look at the Indian codes, I'll be able to see that the Indian codes are available, or the steel codes are available as an Indian code. We have Indian concrete design codes. We have Indian advanced concrete design codes. For the United States and the United Kingdom, again, we have these. Additionally, we have timber codes with United States and aluminum codes with United States. So this is all the design codes. Again, remember, this is one of those inputs which are very, very, very important. Understanding the design codes of your country or any country for that matter is going to be very important. Now, the design codes might differ, but just remember that the concepts from which the design codes are developed are going to be the same. So if you understand one country's design code, it is very easy to comprehend the design code of another country because the underlying concepts are going to be exactly the same. A few factors of safety might change, a few notations might change, signages might change, formulas might change here and there. But in essence, the concepts will remain same across the different countries. So these are all the inputs which you must have a lot of command over. So STAAD at the end of the day is basically taking inputs, giving you outputs. Know your inputs, know your outputs. STAAD is going to be a big, big help. If you don't know what inputs to put in, STAAD is not going to be of any help. So instead of running around learning about STAAD, learn about the inputs first. So let's go ahead and talk about what you can build with STAAD. Now with STAAD, you can build building structures, of course. So this could be a simple residential house or a residential structure. You can build commercial structures like malls, offices. You can build hospitals with it. Any building structure, you can build skyscrapers with it, high-rise buildings with it, anything you can imagine. You can build towers with it. So you can build transmission towers, you can build telecommunication towers, You can build bridges with it. You can build trusses. You can build flyovers. You can build concrete bridges. You can build stadiums and halls. You can build different kinds of amphitheaters. You can build industrial structures like silos and power plants. You can build different miscellaneous structures like offshore structures, port structures. You can build tunnels with it. So kind of anything which you can imagine which can be built with using those structural elements of nodes, beams, plates and solids, you can do with STAAD. So which companies are using STAAD currently? Now, I do not have the exact data on it, but one of the websites which I found, which is called Edgy Insights, has been able to track around 10,000 companies which are using STAAD worldwide. Some of the companies' names are given. Now, this data was available in their open source version. I did not go through the paid version to know the exact list, but this is what they covered. Additionally, you can go through STAAD Pro's yearbooks to find different companies which are using it and different structures that are being built with it. Now, all the links which I'll be showing you throughout the video, for example, the link to these yearbooks, I'll be leaving it down in the description below. You can just check them out at your own leisure. So how can you get your hands on STAAD? Now, this is very interesting because you all know about purchasing the professional license. Now, there is a different way of acquiring STAAD absolutely for free. And no, I'm not talking about the pirated version. I'm talking about a student license. You can get, if you are a student or even if you are an educator and not going to be using STAAD for any commercial purpose, you can get a student/educator license. I'll be taking you through both of them to get or make you aware as to what those different versions are. Let's go through the professional license first. Now, this is going to be required if you are going to be doing any kind of design commercially and giving out or using STAAD as your main driving software for creating those designs. It is better to have a professional license so that you do not fall into any legal issues down the line. Now, in order to purchase STAAD, all you have to do is click on the link below. I'll be dropping it down in the description. You'll be headed over to a website called Virtuosity, which is basically an online store for the softwares of STAAD. So right here, if you move down, you'll be able to see two options. One is the option of purchasing STAAD Pro, and the other option is of purchasing STAAD Pro Advanced. Go with the STAAD Pro Advanced version because this will give you the access to RCDC itself, that is the Advanced Concrete Design software, which will be very, very, very handy if you are developing any kind of RC structures. And if you want an even more detailed version of the differences between STAAD and STAAD Pro Advanced, you can find this PDF, which I'll again link in the description below. So this is what I was talking about. Advanced Concrete Design, Drawing and Documentation. This is available with STAAD Pro Advanced. Additionally, we have pushover analysis, steady state, dynamic performances. That is the advanced analysis concepts are covered inside Advanced or rather STAAD Pro Advanced, and it is not inside STAAD Pro. Now, the other option which I was talking about was the free version of the software as a student version. Now, if you head over to this website called education.bentley.com, you'll be able to find all the details related to the Bentley education program. Now, again, I'll leave the link in the description below. If you head over here, you'll be able to find all the softwares which are available for the students as well as the educators. All you need to do is create your own account. So if I just log in, you can either log in with your own email address, or if you do not have an account, you can simply register. You can provide all the details and you'll have to upload a student ID at the end, which will help you get access to all the softwares. So if I go through the software list, you'll be able to find that we have the STAAD Pro software right here, as well as the RCDC software, which you can download. So you can see we have the RCDC right here as well. So these are the two ways of getting STAAD, the professional license. If you are a professional and creating any kind of structures with STAAD and selling it, it's better to have a professional license and not fall into the legal battle with STAAD. The other is the student or the educator version, which you can again get for free. So here's my secret gift for you. If you have come this far, I know you can move much, much further in your career. I have an online program called Structural Consultancy Accelerator. Some of you might have heard about it, some of you might not have heard about it. It's a program consisting of 9 courses, including STAAD Mastery Blueprint, Wind Load Mastery, Seismic Load Mastery, Load Combination Blueprint, Beam Design Blueprint, Column Design Blueprint, Slab Design Blueprint, Isolated Footing Design Blueprint, Raft Design Blueprint. We have a special community, a special coaching program, and a special collaboration program, all inside this bundle. You can get it at my site right here, civilblackbox.com/SCA. I'll leave the link in the description. And if you are the first 15 to use this coupon code special15, you'll get a flat 15% off on the program. This would be a great way of supporting my work. If you like my work, of course. If you don't, it really doesn't make sense to buy it. So that is my special gift for you. Again, this is only open for 15 people to use it. Once it reaches a count of 15, it is going away. So if you're one of the lucky 15s, congratulations. So this is what we covered in this video, the history and versions of STAAD, what was so special about STAAD, the multitude of things that it can do, the different kinds of structures it can build, the companies which are using it, how to get your hands on STAAD, and the special gift that is special 15. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do hit that like button and do check out my other videos on this channel. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.